Welcome Retroid Pocket 2 and Plus lovers, I'm Jay from RightSprite.co.uk. In this video I'll be covering and addressing a question that has been asked a fair few times in my other Retroid videos. What alternative front ends and launchers do I recommend, as compatibility and functionality is a key to having a better handheld experience, which of course I totally agree with. Well, I have had the pleasure of testing out a fair bunch and what is available out there for you guys. When it comes to Android OS systems, there's not that many that are compatible as if it were as a PC. There is a great amount though for us to choose from, and I definitely am grateful for the work that has been put into getting these launchers and front ends out there for us. Not to worry though, I will not be going through every single detail on how to set these up in this video, just quickly to show you our options that are out there. Some quick setup guides, just a personal preference and some of my own opinions, and of course I'd love to hear what you have to say and what your setups are in the comments box below. Just a quick shout out before we do, here at RightSprite we will find new games for older consoles, mod kits and other great gaming goods. If this is your style, then you will find the link in the description box below, and hitting that like and that subby would be absolutely awesome. Anyway, with that out of the way, here's what we have up first. Lemoroid. This is a great entry app for people starting off and getting into emulated devices. This app simplifies getting your ROMs that you have stored, found, up and running with built-in emulators, less faffing around like most of the other rest that are out there. But this does come with limitations, support and compatibility issues. Adding your games to this app is made very simple here, and it auto downloads your cover art and applying the necessary built-in emulators, coming with some basic settings and filters. I do like to keep mine sharp and clear, so that is pretty great. You can also sync up your Google Drive account to upload and back up your saves by placing the BIOS files that are needed to run a handful of consoles into around the same folder structures. It will automatically assign that BIOS to the console, so no messing about placing them where they need to be. In no time you'll be up and running, which is what we all want. The design of the app is pretty basic, but it is 4x3 friendly, which is great for Retroid Pocket owners, though coming with some basic settings to play around with some bad compatibility with finding some game art. It does have some other problems running some PlayStation 1 and 64 titles, so this is not the best way to try and get as much systems to run as possible. But this does come with some consistent updates, so this is one to look out for. I will not be covering content on the built-in front end, as whilst I was making this video we had an update to version 1.9, so I will make a dedicated video to that because that is where a lot of the front end is getting some updates, so keep a lookout for that video. Next up is Classic Boy Pro, another slight step up for the further experienced. As you can see, it looks even more basic than that of Lemoroid, which can be all that you need, with some minor more steps on adding your games by first downloading the emulator of your chosen system, then simply adding your ROMs after that. Again, you are limited to what systems you can add by what the app provides due to its built-in emulators. The automatic cover art download works just about. Again, we'll get better results if you correct your names of the ROMs, but there are more listed and editing options here. Compatibility I would say is better than that of Lemoroid. N64 still sucks, but PlayStation 1 works a lot better, and of course the 16-bit and before gen consoles run just fine. With more settings to play around with within a game settings menu, you'll get more out of this. I can't seem to get a shortcut button to get you back to your games list after gameplay. You have to enter your house mode if you don't have the touchscreen functions, with the controller overmapping popping up as default all the time, then hiding shortly after. Just a little bit of nick and picks there. More features and compatibility than Lemoroid, with still a simple setup guide. Classic Boy is further fun to use but a little bit more daunting with its extra features for newbies. Now we move on to the higher rated app, and is definitely in my higher rated front ends, the Reset Collection. This was almost my go-to stick with. Already a much better design and layout, being as you can see 4x3 friendly, which is very nice. You can really tell the developer has put more serious care into this one. Adding games is very simple. Scraping the info and art does take longer than previous mentioned front ends, so with a big ROM set, expect to wait for some time. This is because it's downloading a lot more information, which is pretty great. There are no built-in emulators with this one. It finds emulators that are compatible that are already on your device. So with RetroArch downloaded, get those suitable calls that are working with this front end. It is a great start. Now I really do like how this is laid out, and it's perhaps my favorite so far. If you can play videos as well and selected games, but I found it's not a fair bit of time and some games just won't load up with the video in the background. When adding games, it does merge the game title of the same name, so there's a lot less clutter. When you select that title that does have a bunch of the same names, it does ask you then which one you want to boot. One great feature is how you can select alternative game art and banners that are provided with the app itself. So if you're not happy with the one they automatically scrape with, you can then just simply select an alternative. I found when you select your desired region game covers to PAL, it still seems to set it to US, which is quite annoying. Without manually having to download though from a browser and select one from your drive, it is pretty handy, and I think it's a great feature with this app. This one again is for the more advanced users, and it's a lot more fun with customization and has the strongest compatibility with a layout that works great for the Retroid Pocket 2. Launchbox up now. This one is a bit of a newbie when coming to Android compared to the rest, but it does bring all its greatness from the PC versions. There are two versions. One of them is free, capped with a list of 100 games, just to get your feet wet, then a paid version to unlock it all. I bought this when it first came out, and it definitely was a little bit cheaper back then. There is no Play Store version out there as of yet. You'll have to head to their website and download it from their page. All links can be found at a link in the description box below. Adding your games again is pretty simple, but you can also add games via the PC version. If you got that already downloaded and installed to your PC and you have a ROM set already, there's a nice shortcut, so then you can copy and paste that to your Android device. For Android users, it does give you a bit of a warning when you add in new systems. One nice trick that is quite beneficial when you add in some ROMs to any front end is to make sure that they allocated in a nice presentable order on your SD card, so then it's easier for you to find and also for the app to easily add your games track down. Launchbox operates adding one system at a time, also merging games of the same title, keeping it nice and tidy. I found sometimes that they will not find all the games in my folder, so some work needs to be done there. Game art is automatically downloaded with banner, info, title, much like the Reset collection. As the front end works with emulators found on your device, it is compatible with a lot, perhaps even more so here. This front end I found does look pretty awesome, and it may be the best looking one out there, with some alternative layouts which work really nice with this 4:3 ratio of the Retroid, with great support and constant updates and features. This could be my favorite. It just struggled placing my Neo Geo games linked with Final Burn Neo emulator with RetroArch. I've just got to get those retro chivos. It's taken some nice strides now coming from its buggy first beta. That did push me away from this app, but now it is shaping up pretty nice. With Hyperspin Launcher, it was not compatible unfortunately with the Retroid Pocket. When it comes to launchers, in case you didn't know, it operates differently to that of the front ends. They work as a ROM, which is essentially a different version of Android operating system that is meant to replace the operating service that came with the device, so more work is needed when it comes to a launcher than a front end to get it up and running. When it comes to Pegasus Launcher, it is compatible. Once downloaded and installed, you can then set it as your default launcher, making the device boot up straight into this. Though there is much work to be done on the PC side first to get your ROM list up and running, to be structured on the interface menu. This is why I have stayed away from launchers, but after seeing a finished result, it does look pretty great, but I can't confirm on its compatibility because I haven't used it that much. This is why I just end up sticking with front ends. So personally, not much of a fan when it comes to launchers, but the Retroid to boot up straight into this reminds me of, say, EmuElec on a Linux device. There may be some lovers out there of this alternative version. Now here is just personally my favorite to go to, called Dig, which the original Retroid owners are similar to, and also comes bundled with the Plus as well. This should have some higher ratings on the Play Store. Anywho, once booted up, the first thing you would notice, it does look to be very basic, but you can get everything up to look very nice and spicy. There are options. You can download themes from the browse list, and you can direct to their website to download them. Now there's not been many that are compatible with the 4:3 ratio. Most of them are compatible with widescreen. you may have to go out of your way further to get ones that work more for the Retroid Pocket. I got a bit fed up in the end and customized my own using the titled card template. If you are interested in this theme that I've built in with the card theme, which I'm really appreciated for the original author, the link is in the description box below. When applying the themes, you still have to tweak and size the icons and such. Dig does provide a lot of options for us when it comes to customization to really set up a handheld the way that you personally prefer. Very simple to navigate around once you get a head around it. Though using certain themes you do get better search results with systems due to their theme compatibility. But this one that I've got right up and running does work pretty fine with what I want to get out of it. Using this app, I've personally had the best results on tracking your games and allocating them in the right place and linking them to emulators. I paid for the full version not too long after my first use. When linking emulators to the system folder, again it does depend on the app's compatibility like the rest of the front ends, but you can manually add and track them down, but I do find that this does provide plenty for us to use. Though the Plus is compatible with the 64-bit version of RetroArch, you do have to set it to that, as the default one is linked to the one that is built in, and RetroArch is always getting some constant updates. Dig does automatically download the game art, you still have to manually track down the ones that are missing, just like most of the rest of the front ends, but with the Plus it is more of a fluid experience because it's just more powerful. You can also link any selected ROM within a system folder to link them up with any other emulator in case you have some compatibility issues with that certain ROM. Here where I can customize the icons and simply just link them up with a PNG file. There's quite a lot with this front end and I found that it's giving me the best results with customizations, so I can just personally set it up the way I like it. I still need to do some work with the background art and such, but my advice if you want to get on board and doing your own is just take your time and have some fun with it. It has been very interesting seeing these front ends grow and become more stable the last year or so, with constant support and updating because of the high demand. So the future is looking pretty bright. As I mentioned earlier, I will do a further more in-depth video on the built-in front end just due to its recent update, and you will find a link in the description box below. So I hope this video has given you a better introduction on what is available out there so you can decide and have a bit of fun yourself. So as always, if you like this video, hit that button if you want to support, click subscribe, leave your comments below, and I'll catch you lot on my next video.